Hello, I'm Jamie Alden, and now that 2025 is officially behind us, I wanted to take a few minutes to look at what actually happened in the Mahomet real estate market, and more importantly, what that means as we head into 2026. So there's been a lot of noise around real estate the last few years, and my goal today is to share a clear, local, data-driven snapshot without hype, without fear, just the facts, ma'am, and sharing what I have seen firsthand. So the biggest takeaway from 2025 is this: the market didn't decline, it normalized. So we moved away from the ultra-fast, frenzy style market of previous years and into something more balanced and thoughtful. And here in Mahomet specifically, the market remained very resilient. So let's start with home prices. Throughout 2025, Mahomet's median sales price stayed remarkably steady, generally in the high $300,000 range all year. Month after month, Mahomet continued to outperform the broader MLS market, which averaged closer to the low 300,000s. So what that tells us is that buyers continue to place a premium on Mahomet, the schools, the community, the location, and the overall quality of life here. Even as the market adjusted, values in Mahomet held strong. So one of the biggest reasons that prices stayed resilient comes down to supply. In 2025, Mahomet consistently hovered around 2 months of housing supply or less for most of the year. For reference, a truly balanced market is closer to 5 or 6 months of supply. So even though buyers slowed down and became more selective, there were still more buyers than available homes in Mahomet. We never experienced a surge in inventory, and that helps support home values. Now let's talk about how long homes took to sell. Early in 2025, homes in Mahomet were taking longer to go under contract, around 2 months on average. That was a noticeable shift from previous years, and it caught a lot of sellers off guard. But this wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a sign that buyers were becoming more thoughtful. As the year went on and pricing expectations adjusted, we saw market times steadily improve. And by the end of 2025, Mahomet homes were selling in roughly the same time frame as the broader market. So the story here isn't slowdown, it's normalization and adjustment. Another important metric is how close homes sold to their original list price. In 2025, Mahomet homes typically sold for about 97.5% to 98% of list price. So that means negotiation returned to the market, but sellers still achieved strong outcomes when homes were priced correctly. So this is no longer a, name your price and get it market. Instead, strategy mattered, more than before. And well-prepared, well-priced homes sold successfully, and overpriced homes sat longer and required adjustments. So I'll share a quick personal observation from this last year. Going into fall 2025, I expected activity to pick up more than what it did, especially as interest rates eased. But buyer activity remained more cautious than many anticipated, including myself. So in my experience, that had less to do with the real estate market and more to do with just broader uncertainty. We had a lot of economic headlines, government shutdown concerns, and discussion around tariffs. And, what I have seen consistently is that buyers move forward when there's clarity. Take, for instance, election years. There always seems to be a pause in the market right before an election. And then regardless of outcome, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican that's elected, things move forward again after an election. So as uncertainty eases, confidence tends to follow. So what does all this mean as we go into 2026? So nationally, economists are projecting an increase in home sales in 2026 compared to 2025. Locally here in Mahomet, what I'm seeing early on is renewed activity, but still a market where preparation and strategy matter far more than speed. So this isn't about rushing, it's about being informed, realistic, and well-positioned. So whether you're thinking about moving this year, planning for the future, or simply keeping an eye on the market, understanding these trends help you make confident decisions. So I will continue sharing insights throughout the year, and as always, I'm happy to be a resource. Thank you so much for watching.